Shalom and welcome to lesson 2, part 1, and I believe we can finish lesson 2 with just one part. We finished with the preparation of the bride, which came in 5 different segments, and now we are going to move into the separation of the bride. Due to much errant church teachings that made the majority of believers that the Lord's main objective was the church at his first coming, as it was really scripturally to re-establish the foundation that the Jews would fulfill the plan of, rather than taking his message of salvation to the world, totally contradicts scripture in Matthew 10:5. Now let me just elaborate on this. The entire church teaching was that Jesus came to establish his church. I totally disagree because the scriptures don't present that. Yeshua came for the lost house of Jehudah and the lost house of Israel to fulfill the covenant province of Jeremiah 31:31. So how on earth can somebody make such a claim? To me, really exasperates me. So without really further ado, as to the scripturally proven text, let's analyze what the Gospels record about Yeshua and his message to the Jewish people, as well as the proof that he came for these two houses, to unite the two houses. Matthew 10:5. These 12 Yeshua sent forth and charged them, saying, now please pay attention to this, go not into any way of the goyim. The goyim is the Hebrew word for Gentiles. Goyim in Hebrew means dogs. So prior to coming into salvation, you and I, from a Jewish perspective, from a messianic perspective, we were dogs, in short, street dogs. So he says, do not go into any way of the goyim, and enter not into a city of the Samaritans. They were also considered goyim, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preaching, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Then let's look at Matthew 15:24. But he answered, now he's talking to a woman who is goyim, a Gentile. But he answered and said, I was not sent by whom? By the Father, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So brothers and sisters, based on these two scriptures, how on earth can he say that he came to establish the church? Based on these two scriptures, we can now understand that the mystery called the church was absolutely alien to the Jewish apostles, as their question to the risen Lord in Acts 1:6 says this. They therefore, when they were come together, asking him, saying, Lord, dost thou at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Why on earth didn't they say, why aren't we making the church? What is your strategy of building this new thing called the church? Why this question if they were already indoctrinated in bringing into existence the future church? Because simply this revelation was reserved for Saul of Tarsus. Romans 16:25. Now to him that is able to establish you according to my gospel and the preachings of Yeshua the Messiah, according to the revelation of the mystery, which had been kept silence through times eternal, but now manifest. Wow. In short, what Paul was saying is, right through the period of John the Baptist, Messiah on earth, his resurrection, the church was a mysterion. That's the Greek word, mysterion, for mystery. Then Saul or Paul goes on to explain what this mystery is to the church in Ephesians. For he is our peace, who made both one, and break down the middle wall partition. Now, to the average Christian, this makes no sense because he's using the Hebrew word soreg, and soreg was the partitioning wall in the temple between Jews and non-Jews. In short, non-Jews could come only to a certain point in the temple and worship Yahweh. They could not enjoy the entire temple presence. And here was the very reason why Paul was sent to Rome to be beheaded by the Jews who endorsed it. Because they said we can accept baptism, we can accept anything. We cannot accept what you are suggesting, that your Messiah will remove the soreg, the partitioning wall between the dogs and God's chosen people. Let's move on. For he is our peace, who made both one, and break down the middle wall partition, the soreg, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, that he might create in himself of two one new man, kainos anthropos, so making peace, and might reconcile them both in one body. What was that? Jew and Gentile, unto God through the cross. Having slain the enmity thereby, that means the enmity of Gentiles not accepting the Messiah, and he came and preached peace to you that were far off, and peace to them that were nigh. For through him we both have access in one Spirit unto the Father. So then ye are no more strangers and sojourners, again about the Gentiles, but ye are fellow citizens with saints and the household of God, being built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yeshua HaMashiach himself being the cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, in whom every several building fitly framed together groweth into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye are also builded together for a habitation of God in the Spirit. Wow. Paul goes on to expand this plan of the Messiah in 1 Thessalonians 1 4:14. For if we believe that Yeshua died and rose again, even them also that are fallen asleep in Yeshua will God bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we that are alive, that are left unto the coming of the Lord, shall in no wise precede them that are fallen asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with the shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we that are alive, that are left, shall together with him be hapazo, caught up in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we be ever with the Lord. Where forever. Comfort one another with these words. Brothers and sisters, once the rapture takes place, followed by the Great Tribulation, this period will also unleash the greatest evangelistic outpouring of the world ever witnessed via the 144,000 Jewish evangelists and God's two witnesses in Jerusalem. Then the end will come. Therefore, from the time the Lord rose from the Mount Olives to the Father, till his return, referred to as the period of waiting in expectancy of Messiah, the bridegroom, for his bride, is known as the blessed hope. As there is much prophecy and signs of the end times, yet there is no sign for the believers to watch for that will point to the rapture. But we can know the approaching season by understanding the signs of the times for the great tribulation. As one witnesses shops and malls around the period of October, November, decorating their outfits with Christmas decor long before the event, we know by reading the signs that point to the end of this eon, which means an era of grace, that will soon be followed by the dispensation of judgment or the great tribulation. But you will ask the question, is there any inclination from Scripture as to how close these two events are? And the answer is a big yes, for we know from two sources, the prophet Hosea and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Hosea 5:15 to 6:2 says this: I will go and return to my place, till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction they will seek me earnestly. Come, let us return to God. For he had torn, and he will heal us. He had smitten, and will bind us. After 2 days he will revive us. On the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live before him. The Essenes moved to Qumran about 200 BC, away from the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who were, as far as they were concerned, politicians, and dedicated to copying and writing and studying the scriptures, especially as they waited for their beloved Messiah. According to recent release studies of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Essenes believed that Messiah will be present on earth and will be sacrificed for the sins of mankind by AD 32 as Mashiach ben Yosef, and return 2000 years later as Mashiach ben David. This makes the birth of Messiah in Bethlehem around 2 BC, and history records that Herod the Great died in 1 BC, which puts the crucifixion in April AD 32. According to the prophecy of Hosea, the Lord would return to heaven for a period of 2000 years, which places his return in around the region of 2032, which would be the end of the 7-year tribulation. If we subtract 7 years of the tribulation from this potential date, we're looking at a period between 2023 and 2025, the very latest in its broadest sense. Examining the signs of the times, the worldwide pandemic, the massive buildup of Russia on the Golan Heights as well as on the Ukrainian borders, the earthquakes, the supervolcanoes that shook the planet when it exploded in Tonga, and the arrival of Apophis in April 2029. These dates seem pretty convincing to me that we do not have much time left for the task given to the bride for preparation that will move us into sanctification, into the new Jerusalem. This concludes the entire lesson 2, and lesson 3 will follow, which will take us into the Jewish wedding and what I would call the process of sanctification. Thank you, and may the Lord bless you.